They Fought for Our Country by Shirley Williams. Every time I came to a house, I used to see that particular thing you hung in the window to let you know you have someone in the service. To let us all know. We had 5 in our window, and then when we were little, we could write them. They were overseas. They had V-mail, it was called, because it was like a little pad with their writing on it. And when they sent a letter back, it looked like it had shrunk. They cut things out. I learned a lot about the war then. So our family, one was in the Army, one was in the Army Air Force, and the other 3 were in other services. My cousin Lawrence was at Tuskegee. He ended up being a navigator. And he used to tell us the indignities. It is unbelievable that what they had to go through to fight for their country. Most of the men at Tuskegee were very light, but when they went into town, they couldn't eat. Even though Uncle Sam said it was all right, the Tuskegee force did not. So in the meantime, he finally came out. And when he died, he was 90. Guess what? The Air Force came. This gentleman, he was a general dressed in street clothes, and because of the horrible things he went through, they gave him a medal. When I was at the funeral, the Air Force general came in and gave him his medal. At least in death, he got to wear it. It's like that in death, he got his wings. He was 21 when he went to Washington, D.C. to get a job in the government. Most of my relatives worked in the government in some way. His daughter worked for the CIA. I had an uncle who worked at the arsenal. Because of that, he could not hear well, but they took him anyway and sent him to, and later, to the boot of Italy. The GIs were important there. Cousin Jimmy was in Normandy. They sent his group up. He told me about the groups of Frenchmen and Canadians and Englishmen that were mowed down as they jumped from boats or climbed up cliffs. The Germans were waiting. He said it was rough and that he was lucky to come home in good shape. His friend, Joe Stanley, was a map maker in Europe, and we were supposed to have no brains. Later, I had a little brother that went to Korea. Our son went to school to be a pilot and went to Vietnam. He could not grasp the fact that they would not let him fly, and then he came back with Agent Orange. My father was a cook in the Army for World War I. He was part of the backbone of our service. When he got back from Europe, he wanted to get a job back here, but they gave him a job in the basement. People of color worked in the basement back then.